I open the page, they talk to me. Come on now, brew walk for me. Urban gorilla, that sauce on me. Yeah, I was shy, pay the cost on me. He the boss man, he got up on the cross for me. He the boss man, he got up on the cross for me. He the boss man, he got up on the cross. Yeah.
I open them pages, they talk to me. Come on now, brew walk for me. Urban gorilla, that sauce on me. Yeah, I was shy, pay the cost on me. He the boss man, he got up on that cross for me. He the boss man, he got up on that cross for me. He the boss man, he got up on that cross.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Today, all right? We're the Hebrew Israelites, sent down to these streets to wake you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans up to your true nationality and identity, which is the Israelites of the Bible. Like God's chosen people, God's only people, according to the word of the Most High, right? Bring that out.
It's the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed.
Right. He is our God, and He is no one else's God, right? It ain't us, right? The Most High God declared us as His people, His chosen people, and we are, and He is our only God, right? Where you got all of our people serving and worshiping multiple deities and beings, right? As in the Catholic Church, right? Praying to Mother Mary, all these other apostles and figures in the Bible. We only have one Most High God that we're supposed to worship. That's the Father, right? Not the Son, the Father, right? Praise to the Father in the name of the Son, right?
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 from the top. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
He said He only knew the Israelites of everybody that dwelled on the face of the earth. He only knew the Israelites. He only had respect to the Israelites, right? Good.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
And that's why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans get the brunt of punishment for not adhering to the laws of the Most High God, right? That's why we're in this predicament today, being in slavery for the past over 500 years, really, right? Ongoing, right?
And that's just pertaining to America.
Right, just in America, right? All that?
It is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people.
Right, so we should be holy unto the Most High because He separated us from other people, right? From everybody on the planet Earth, right? He chose us to be His chosen people, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? But we're at the bottom of society. We're looked at as the lowest people on the planet Earth right now, right? And that's for a reason, because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments we're supposed to keep, right? Now get John 15. I want 19. Look at these curses in the middle.
This is the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 19. If ye were of the world would love his own.
Right, if we were of the world would love his own, right? The world will try to help us out, right? The world will stand up for us in our struggles, right? The world will fight for us like Asian hate, right? The world will fight for us like the LGBTQ movement.
That's right.
Right? Well, what we get? We got Black Lives Matter over all social media for one time period, right? That's it. No, forget about that, right? We're done with that, right? Everybody's moved on to support the Asian man, right? Support all these other people. But we're still in this predicament we were in for 500 plus years, right? Is that on that?
But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
because we've been chosen out of the world, because the Most High chose us as His chosen people, right? We're hated amongst all of the people on planet Earth. We're the most hated people, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Oye, hermano, ¿tú hablas inglés?
No.
No? Not really?
Yeah.
Worry about it. Bring that in on that.
John 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
Right, we didn't choose the Most High God. It doesn't matter if you choose the Most High God or not. It doesn't matter if you say Christ's name, right, in the Christian church, right, to receive these promises and things like that, right? Because He's already chosen you. You already qualify being a Black, Hispanic, Native American, being an Israelite of one of these various 12 tribes, right? That's the first qualification, right? To receive these promises. Next, you just gotta have faith and keep these commandments, right? What, you have precept on that?
And ordained you that you should bring, and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, He may give it you.
Right. He ordained these people that He's talking about to bring forth the works of Christ, right? That these Israelites bring forth these fruits, right? Not any other nation of people, but of the Israelites, right? Because we were given that duty, we were given that responsibility among the earth, right? Not any other nation. And when we don't do these things that we're supposed to do, all hell breaks loose, right? In our community. Things like Adam Toledo happen. Things like Orlando Castile happen, right? George Floyd happens, right? All these curses come upon our people. That's why we come out to the streets and proclaim that we turn back from these things, stop sinning against our God, and take responsibility and take accountability for what we do, how we live our daily lives, right? Because what we're doing is ultimately the detriment of our people, right? Even things as simple as eating pork, right? When we know our people have the highest rates of blood pressure, right? Highest rates of disease, right? From like diabetes and
gout,
cancer, gout, right? Which stems from not keeping these commandments.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 60. Moreover, He will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed.
Right. All these sicknesses He's going to bring upon us till the Lord destroys us, right? Get 28:15. Get the context of this whole entire chapter.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all His commandments and His statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right, that all these curses will come upon us and overtake us if we didn't adhere to the law, statutes, and commandments that our God gave us. I want to put an emphasis on our God, because this is what the Bible is a letter from is a history book, right? It's a history book of our dealings as a nation with the Most High God, our God, not any other nation on the planet Earth God, but ours, right? Because that's a lot of the time misconstrued. This is to the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans only, exclusively, right? Got precept? No precept, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, right? Oye, hermano. Oye, ven aquí, hermano. Un momento. Una pregunta.
It's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, check out that flyer then, bro.
All right, man.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord our God chose us to be a special people for himself, right? Not any other people, right? He said in the book of Leviticus, we're supposed to be separate from these other people anyway, right? He chose us, he severed us from every group on the planet Earth, right? That's why we're looked at as separate from everybody else, right? As lower than everybody else today, right? Like we were just reading in the New Testament, right? So-called New Testament, right?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And we're above all people that are upon the face of the earth, right? According to the Bible, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are supposed to be above all people on the planet Earth. But since we don't follow these commandments, since we don't act like the kings and gods that we're supposed to be, right? We're not that. We're not looked at as that, right? Deuteronomy 6. Because if we adhere to these things, right, that we're supposed to adhere to, right, that we're supposed to do, then we're going to be looked at as wise in the sight of these nations, right? Good.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he hath commanded us.
Right. We would be looked at as wise and understanding people in the sight of all these nations, right? We would be put on a pedestal by these other nations if we just adhere to these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? But since our people don't want to do that, since our people want to go off into Catholicism, right? Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, right? The East Indian, whatever they believe in, right? It doesn't really matter because we're supposed to believe in the Bible, right? Our own records that our ancestors gave for us.
Precept, right? Proverbs 9 and 10.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 9 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
Right. The fear of the Lord, that's the beginning of wisdom, right? That's the beginning of our wisdom, right? Because if we fear the Lord, if we fear what he could actually do to us, right? Truly, we will keep these commandments. We do what he says, right? If we love him, truly, we would do these commandments and keep these commandments and show that we love him by being obedient to him, right? Just like you would show that love to your father, that respect to your father. Let me do it on me. 32 and 8.
There's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam.
He separated the sons of Adam, right? A lot of people like to say, like the brother we was just talking to a brother earlier about this, right? Every nation is not supposed to be together, right? It's not supposed to be united as a people, because the Most High God separated all nations, right? Bring that out from the top again.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right, so the Most High separated the sons of Adam, right? Instead of keeping them all together during the Tower of Babel period, right? He separated all these nations. And while he was doing so, he made sure he had that allotted land for his people, right? Because he was always thinking about his chosen people, the Israelites, the whole time. Is that it on that? Go down to 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
because the Lord's portion is His people, right? That's who the Lord is dealing with primarily, right? Just like even within His people, He has another set of chosen people, the Levites. Those are the ones that carry out the Lord's temple work, the service of the Most High exclusively amongst our nation, right? But as far as we go, we are the ones in that same position in the sight of all these other nations, right? To be do obedience to the Lord, right? To obeisance to the Lord, right? To have that responsibility of keeping these commandments to the Most High God, right?
1 Kings 8 and started, I want to say 52.
It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8 and verse 52. That thine eyes may be open unto the supplication of thy servant, and unto the supplication of thy people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee.
Right. So his eyes, this is a prayer for his eyes to be open to us. His ears, his eyes to pay attention to us, the Israelites, right? Not any other people on the planet Earth, right? Because he exclusively deals with us, right? He doesn't care about the other nations. And this is the deal with our people, right? Because everybody else on the planet Earth, they have their little pantheon, their little deities, their little their idols that they set up, right? Get Psalms 92. Their little idols that they set up to serve, that they made with their hands.
Hold what you got though, because the point is 53.
Book of Psalms, chapter 96 and 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Right, all these gods of the nations, all they serve is idols, right?
But the Lord made the heavens.
But the Lord is our God, and He made the heavens, right? He separated us to be His people. Right? He dealt with us. He chose to deal with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, right? He chose to deal with Moses, our forefathers, right? Not any other nation on the planet Earth. Okay.
Back in 1 Kings, I'm going to start again at 52. That thine eyes might be upon the supplication of thy servant, and unto the supplication of thy people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee. For thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth, to be thine inheritance, as thou speakest by the hand of Moses thy servant, when thou broughtest our fathers out of Egypt, O Lord God.
He declared us His people when He brought us out of Egypt, right? To serve Him exclusively, right? Now we know that He brought there was a mixed multitude with us when we departed from the land of Egypt. That mixed multitude died, right?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee that thou, Salakia, I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
He surnamed us. He called us out, right? That's why in the New Testament it said that it wasn't because we chose the Most High God, right? He chose us, right? Bring that up here.
Even going into how he changed Jacob's name to Israel, surnamed him, Prince of the Power. This is John chapter 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of me the Father in my name, He may give it you.
Right. He separated us so that we basically have that exclusive dealing with the Most High God.
Hey, bro.
Hey, mano.
Take a fly, bro.
Ven aquí. Bring it out again.
YouTube channels on there too.
It's the book of John chapter 15 and verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you.
Now, whatever we ask of the Father in His name, He'll give us, right? So we basically have that exclusive dealing with the Most High. He's our Father, and whatever we ask our Father, He's going to give us. Like if you're dealing with your son, right, with your children, right? If another little boy or little girl came to ask you about something, right? As you give them something, what you gonna do? You gonna give it to them at the expense of your other children, your children exclusively? No, right? So that's the dealing that these other nations have with our God, right? They don't need to be asking our God for nothing, right? Because He's got us. He's going to handle us, right? He's dealing with us, right? They go serve their own other gods, right? But as for us, we serve the Most High God, right? Matter of fact, get that, in John 4, I believe, where it says, "Ye worship, you know not what."
This is the book of John, chapter 4 and verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what.
Right, we worship you know not what, right? These other nations, they worship something that they don't even understand, right? Because the Most High is our God, right? Even us, even our people, we're worshiping something we don't understand, right? Because these churches, these iglesias, right, got us off and worshiping these regular people, right? As if there's some deities, a part of what they call the Godhead, right? When we're only supposed to be worshiping and serving the Most High God according to our records, according to the Biblia, right? But but our people, we don't know what we're worshiping. We don't know what we're serving, right? Bring it out again.
This is John chapter 4 and verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship.
But we know what we worship. We up here, we know what we're worshiping, right? We've done the research. We went into the Bible. We completely forgot everything that we learned in the churches, right? To come exclusively back to the Bible, back to our heritage, our nationality. So now we understand what we're worshiping. We understand who we're serving, right? But
we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation is of the Jews, right? Salvation is exclusively for these Israelites, right? Coming from a great man, okay? The greatest man to ever exist of the tribe of Judah, right? A very great tribe, okay? In Israel, right? The Israelites, right? Those are who he's dealing with, exclusively.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? This is Psalm chapter 50 and 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
So what do these other nations have to do what do these other nations have to do with us, right? To serve our God, right? What do these other nations have to do? Why are these other nations even trying to serve our God, right? Because we know that our God is the truth, right? And they're trying to take our blessing, take our heritage away from us. That goes on Sunday as well. Because these nations came in a confederacy against us, right? They all assembled themselves to take away the remembrance of our people, right?
This is Psalm 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
They said these nations came together and said, let's cut the name of Israel off from being a nation in remembrance, right? Let's cut them off from remembering who they are, right? Let's cut them off from remembering their promises and their true greatness and power, right? That their God gave them, right? Because when we were in our power, we tormented all these other nations, right? We were the top dogs, right? No one could stand against us. Right? That name of Giza, what the Most High did in Giza spread throughout the entire earth, right? The entire part of the earth, right? We had fear. Queen of Sheba came and said Solomon was the wisest man in existence, right?
This Judith chapter 5 and verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
Right. Because when we were in our righteousness, in our land, right, still keeping these commandments, we were prosperous, right? We were a great nation, right? Had our own land, our own fruitful land, right? In that part of the Fertile Crescent, right? Because we kept the Most High God's commandments. We were obedient to Him at that time, right? But now He got fed up with us. Now He sent us into slavery, right? For 500 plus years in slavery, right? Ever since that time, ever since the split of Israel, right? We've always been from bondage to bondage, right? Since Babylon, right? Continuously in captivity to some other nation. Right? Separated as a people. But in these last times, this is a time where the Most High God set it up to where we come together as a nation, right? We come back together in this final captivity in Babylon. That's why it's so important to come out to these streets, right? Inform our people, let our people know that we are these original people in the book, in the Bible, right? That we need to come together as a nation instead of being separated, being told that we're different from one another. So it's important for us to get together, to stick together as a nation, right? Us Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to realize that we're actually one nation of people, right? Instead of moving and organizing ourselves as separate entities, right? So that we need to come back to these statutes and commandments and stop moving according to our own ways, right? According to what the white man has encouraged us to do, right? Get out of all these religions, right? All these movements that are against our God, right? That are only going to put us in further evil, further bondage in this place, right? So where we just never get out, right? But we all know that there's going to come that day, because everybody will attest to these being the last days, right? So, which side are you going to be on? You're going to be on the side that gets delivered out in these chariots, gets delivered out of the nuclear destruction that's coming to America, or are you going to be burnt up with the white man, right? You're going to love your oppressor so much that you just can't see life without it, right?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers.
We are the children of the one you